Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So we're going to get this battle going with the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 and the Huawei Nexus 6P. So normally I'll run down a list of things that I like to talk about that some people might look at first when they're looking at a device to purchase, and I'll get into that right now. But first, let's get some of this techie stuff out of the way, because that means something to some people. Me, not so much, but I'm going to do it anyway. So starting with the Note 5, it has a 5.7-inch Quad HD display with a resolution of 518 pixels per inch, which is beautiful. The Nexus 6P has a 5.7-inch display with a resolution of 518 pixels per inch. This comes in at about 7.3 millimeters, and this comes in at about 7.6, although you really can't tell in the hand. This weighs 178 grams, and this weighs 171 grams. You really can't tell the difference, though. They both use a nano SIM. This is Super AMOLED, and this is AMOLED. It's a difference. Both have Gorilla Glass 4. This has a oleophobic coating on there. This runs Marshmallow 6.0 Android, and this is still on 5.1.1. This has a Snapdragon 810, clocked at 1.5 and also 2 gigahertz, and this has a Exynos 742, clocked at 1.5 and 2.1. This uses the Mali for GPU 760 and P8, and this uses the Adreno 330. Neither one of these have removable storage, but they both have some good storage options. You can get the Note in 28 gigs yet. You remember that leaked out a while back? But it's not on the market yet, unless that was an error, I don't know. But currently, this has 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gig option, and a 64 gig option. This has 32, 64, and 128 gig options, and 3 gigs of RAM. This has a 16 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, autofocus, LED flash. This has a 12.3 megapixel with laser autofocus and LED flash, dual tone over there. They both shoot 4K, but one fun factor, favorite feature about this phone I like is it shoots at 60 frames per second, and I actually really like that. The optical image stabilization is really good on here. This has a front camera of 5 megapixels, and this has a front camera of 8 megapixels that actually shoots in 1080p, which is really nice. This has a loudspeaker on the bottom. This has dual front firing speakers, which is really nice. They both have dual band Wi-Fi, which supports that 5 gigahertz band that we all love. This is USB Type-C, the future, so to speak. 2.0 version, by the way, the reversible plug. This is still on the regular micro USB 2.0. They both have fingerprint readers, accelerometers, barometers. This actually has a heart rate monitor. And what else is different? They both have fast charging. This actually has wireless charging. And I think that's probably some of the differences here. This has a 3000 non-removable milliamp hour battery, and this has a 3450 non-removable milliamp hour battery. This comes in aluminum, graphite, and frost. And they're supposed to be a gold color too. And this comes in black sapphire, gold platinum right here, silver titanium, white pearl. That is all the techie stuff out of the way. Now let's get into the deep down how we really feel about this stuff. So starting with the Challenger, which is going to be the Nexus 6P. The screen on this is really nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up some pictures here. I'm going to clear out. I hate doing this. It's kind of annoying at times. But I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to go and type in, I'm going to search for images that are 2560 by 1440. And I'll do the same thing over here. See, gotta do it like that. That's so much better. Google, and then we're going to go images. And I'm doing this for a reason, because I'm going to get to the screen first. 2560, and these will pull up the same thing. See, same thing. So starting with the Nexus 6P, I'm just going to click on some pictures here and look at the quality of them. And I think the Nexus 6P on camera is going to look a certain way. I was comparing these off camera, and let's see here. Come on, buddy. Act right. There we go. And you can just look at them here and you can tell me which one you think looks more crisp, if you will. When I'm looking at them here in person, I really can't tell the difference. Let's go to the next photo. On this photo, the Note 5 looks to be a little blurry and looks to be really sharp around the Nexus 6P. Take a look there, as you can see. This one looks a lot sharper. Let's go here. That's not a good one. Doesn't show much detail. This one either. It's kind of nice. Now here's one. And by the way, I have these both set to about 30% brightness with no auto brightness. So with that being said, on this particular picture, the Note 5 looks just gorgeous. So the displays on here, you really can't. They're the same displays, but this one renders. There we go. Now it's rendering good on both. These are big files. They both look pretty good. They look a little sharper on the Nexus 6P in some photos. Nonetheless, the screens on these are beautiful, and I think you'll be happy with either one you choose. Now let's get into body. So body, starting with the front. Again, we have these front-firing speakers with that 8 megapixel camera, and you've got that 5.7-inch display. But all that aside, this is an aluminum body, and I really, really, really like this body. It's got the ridged power button there, and the volume rocker are placed just perfectly. So when you're holding it like this, so it looks great. And it feels great. On the back here, I'm a fan of this now. When I saw this in leaked photos, I was like, that looks stupid. But once you get this device in hand, you'll appreciate it more. Because, you know, there's antennas and things in here that are needed to make the phone run perfectly. Got that fingerprint logo on the back, and this is just a beautiful, I just really like this. Antenna bands are kind of hidden on the bottom and top. I really like it. Blends well with the phone. Overall, this is just really sleek. SIM tray is up here. That USB Type-C is on the bottom. Headphone jack on the top is one of the things that I really don't like, but nonetheless, this is a premium build. This is all metal, and there's just this plastic part right here, which they make it look metal, but it blends very, very well. I think they did a great job on there. Now, when you get over to the Note 5, the Note 5 takes a different approach, and it's not like Samsung's old models, which I know if you're a Samsung fan, like me, you followed Samsung their whole career just about, and their phones used to be all plastic and slippery. Now they've moved to glass and metal. So this has a metal frame. You got the nice home button down there that doubles as a fingerprint reader. Your proximity sensors up top with that 5 megapixel camera. And on this side, you've got your power button nicely placed. But the volume rocker is up kind of high on here. And I don't understand that move, but it's got to be something with the way it's built. On the bottom here, you've got everything. You got that gorgeous S Pen, microphone, charge and sync, speaker, and headphone, which everything's on the bottom. I really like that. And then the another microphone up top, and your SIM trays there. It takes a different approach with the Note 5. It's a glossy. People talk about fingerprints, but I'm not so much worried about fingerprints. I'm worried about it slipping out of my hand, and this is a slippery device. Thus, I had to go ahead and get like a matte. I have skins on here, but I took it off because it's gold. It's just so beautiful. It doesn't deserve to be covered up, so I bought a matte, like thin rear case to keep it in. It's ultra thin case. But this build is really nice. But if I had to choose one of these bodies to take, I would actually take the Nexus 6 because I love that matte feel. I love the all aluminum look. Now, other Nexus devices, they won't feel like this probably because I don't know. The aluminum look, I guess I'll say, I like the complete aluminum look. I don't like the black and I don't like the frost white. I think this look, it just screams premium. Now, the Note 5 screams premium as well, but again, just having them as is with no cases and no nothing, this is a much better feel in the hand because it gives more grip, and this is super slippery. So moving on to one thing that some people might say, why would you do that? Side note, the Nexus 6P has the world's fastest fingerprint reader. It has the fastest fingerprint reader. Let me get something I can take a picture of real quick. Yeah, the Nexus 6P is fingerprint reader is so much faster than every other phone I've got. It's unbelievable. So I got my two buddies here that'll like to pose for the camera. So I'm going to do some live photos here. And I'm going to just take some photos and then show them to you right now on screen. So to launch the camera, you can actually double tap that power button. But it's kind of lame, as you can see. I don't know why they would do that shortcut. But I keep the camera key here, the camera option here, and I just use that. So I'm going to focus this here. And then I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to sit it right there. And now, let me show you how it's done. Double click and boom. There we go. Now I'm going to take the photo here. All right. And then I'm going to move these guys out of the way. I'm going to sit it down. So taking a look here, you can see the difference in the qualities. The Note 5 comes across really, really bright. It's brightening up the photo so much. But the Nexus 6 camera gives it the deeper colors, and it's a little bit more accurate than the Note 5 in this particular photo demo. So I'm going to take another photo here. Just a second. Let me grab some of my favorite painkillers. All right, so let's go with the Nexus 6 again, since I do have, you know, and this one has some red in it, so this should be pretty interesting. All right, and I'm going to set that aside for now, and I'm going to grab the trusty Note 5. Note 5s have one of the fastest shutters I've ever seen on a camera. So taking a look here again at the photos, the Note 5 in this particular photo looks really sharp and really crisp, but it tends to wash out and make things a lot brighter. And if you tap on certain parts of the screen, you can make the picture look darker or brighter, but this is just straight auto and shooting as is. They both look great, but I think the Note 5 in this particular photo looks a lot better than the previous photo. And it depends on what colors are being shot, it looks like, with the Note 5, but the camera is good on both. You will not be disappointed with either camera, that's for sure. So now, sound quality on these, without doing any testing on camera here, the Note 5 speaker is loud, but the Nexus 6P, the 6P speakers are just, they're front facing, so they appear to be much louder. So when it comes to gaming and media content, you'll enjoy it better on the 6P because they're facing you. And that's just kind of a rule of thumb. That's just the way it's going to be with something that speakers are facing you. Even if they're not as good, they're probably going to appear to be better because you have two opposed to one shooting at the bottom. So web browsing on this, you shouldn't have any problem with either one of these. It's plenty fast on both phones. Again, like I've always said, I'm not a fan of Chrome, but I still use it because I haven't found a browser that I like yet. Processing power on these, this is where the Note 5 really trumps the Nexus 6P. This thing benchmarks off the charts, and it performs very well. Even though it's loaded down with a lot of bloatware from Samsung, and it has all the TouchWiz overlay, they've done a great job at taking care of speeding up the device with this overlay. It's really, really nice. I can appreciate the way they are doing TouchWiz now. More importantly, I can change this theme on here, and I can make it look however I want it to look. So I can just long press and go to themes, and then I can actually go download some more themes. They have stock themes in here that you can actually go to. And as you can see, if you didn't notice, I have a different font on here. This isn't the stock font. I purchased some font a long time ago, and this is the font that I'm using here. It's really nice. You can kind of get some customization. But functionality and everything, the Note 5 wins hands down with all the S Pen applications and the functionality of the Note 5. It really trumps the 6P in that manner. If you need productivity and a beautiful display and just a powerhouse device, you definitely would consider the Note 5 over the 6P. The 6P is just stock Android and doesn't offer much. It doesn't take advantage of the 5.7-inch display with the dual split screen here. You can have a browser up top, and then I can just scroll along here and put YouTube or something else on the bottom. So, and I do this frequently. It's just something that you can do. On the 6P, they're not taking advantage of that, and that's okay. But that's just productivity and performance. The Note 5 definitely does much better at it than the 6P. The 6P, people who buy this probably are not looking for a device for productivity. Even though you still have Google Docs and things like that, and you can do those things, but with the included S Pen and all the functionality of the S Pen, you just can't go wrong for productivity on the Note 5, and that I would definitely recommend that you go that way if you're looking for a device in this category here. So call quality on both has been great. Testing them on AT&T and T-Mobile, fantastic, no problems at all. Now, here's where we get into somewhat of a scuffle. The battery life on both of these devices is really good. Now, with the Note 5, shout out to the Samsung Knights real quick. Shout out to all the guys over there and the girls and ladies over there in the Samsung Knights Club, exclusive club online. Shout out to Richard for starting that up. But the Samsung Knights, if you were part of that membership, the group, you can learn some killer things about the battery on your Samsung device, not just the Note 5. I've tweaked this thing following the instructions given from the Samsung Knights, and my battery life is redonkulous. I can get probably 7 hours of screen on time within a 24-hour period or more. I think I've gotten almost 7 hours with a day and 8 hours on battery. That's fantastic. But that requires some tweaking to get it there. But with this device, out of the box, I can go a couple days and get 5 hours of screen on time, or I can go a day, at least a day and a half, and get 5 hours of screen on time with no issues. No tweaking, no anything. And if you turn off sync on your device, you'll really get a lot of battery life out of both of these things. But right now, I keep sync on. Sometimes I turn it off and sometimes I turn it on, but pretty much for the last week or so, I've had sync on because of the holidays, and I've been trying to keep up with things on my channel and all the social media. But both of these are fantastic on battery, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with either one. The advantage that this one has is that it's stock. There's no bloatware. And in Marshmallow 6.0 has a doze feature. So if you're sitting your phone down like this, I've tested it. I've had it for a while now, and I've tested this over and over again. I go to sleep with 25 or 26%, and I wake up only losing 1%, and that's with sync on. Beautiful. I can't do that with this one. And this one, what I do is I put that in ultra power saving mode, and then you get kind of the same results. It'll take about it'll sip about 2 to 3%. But nonetheless, more shipping and notifications. Nonetheless, both of these are great on battery, and you won't be disappointed. Now, which one do you choose? I'll let you decide. But price range on these, this is $499, $550, and $650, and this is $699 and $799. So you can choose which one you think is better value. I personally think that the Nexus 6 is the better value purchase, but obviously I have them both because I've always been a Note fan, and I think the Note line just brings the thunder when it comes to productivity. And really, no phone is really touching the Note. This is just my opinion. No phone is really touching the Note 5 for productivity in a lot of other ways. So you decide which one you think is the best. This is the Note 5 and the Nexus 6P. The battle's over. Shout out in the comments. Let me know if you have both or which one you have, which one you think is the best. It's man J Will, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.